Before I begin, I want to thank Asprey for providing me with a review copy of the game. You guys are awesome. Hello and welcome to the Nintendo Network, and today we're reviewing Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast for the Nintendo Switch. No, not a recent Star Wars game, so no need to worry about microtransactions. But does this port hold up and take the path of the light side, or has it not aged too well and is a port that should have stayed on the dark side? Let's take a look. Jedi Outcast, as I will be calling it since calling it by its entire name would be needlessly padding out the video, originally came out in 2002 for PC, Xbox, and GameCube. I actually had the GameCube version and really enjoyed it. Overall, I'm a mid-tier Star Wars fan. I'm not super crazy about the franchise, and I don't go see every movie in theaters, but I really do enjoy the movies. Well, I really enjoy or can watch just for a few awesome scenes about half the movies at least. So this game was right up my alley back then, but we have to judge it for what was released on the Switch here in 2019. Jedi Outcast has you playing as Kyle Katarn, who in the previous game in the series was a Jedi Knight, but after getting too close to the dark side towards the end of the last game, he severed his connections to the Force altogether and is now a mercenary with his will-they-won't-they partner, Jane Orrs. This takes place 8 years after a planet of adorable teddy bears took down the Empire and Luke Skywalker did something important, I guess, but mostly the teddy bears. On a mercenary run for the New Republic, the duo run into Imperial troops and find out about a plot from the Dark Jedi Dasan, who is a dinosaur, so I automatically like him. But he does have a species name of Kistori. Thanks, Wikipedia. Anyways, as it is pretty obvious as it was in the trailer, Kyle gets his force powers back and the lightsaber. Along your travels, you go to familiar locations like Bespin and Yavin 4 and run into Lando Calrissian, who is actually voiced by Billy D. Williams, and Luke Skywalker, who is surprisingly not voiced by Mark Hamill, which is a bit head-scratching as he has done so many voiceovers in the years, including the show Pepper Ann, where he voiced himself. So yeah, the plot is pretty common fare for Star Wars, but was really engaging at the same time. Some obvious twists here and there, but I won't spoil it as it is fun to learn as you play. One of the neat things about the combat is you have choices. In the first mission, you have guns and explosives in a first-person view. But as mentioned, eventually you gain access to your lightsaber, and when you yield it, you go into third-person view. Now, there might be scenarios where you want to use a rocket launcher, but let's all be honest, we're all playing with the lightsaber, right? Agreed. But the idea of choices is always a good thing. Plus, even with the lightsaber itself, you can take different stances to be a faster type attacker or slower for more powerful strikes. Also, as mentioned, this game is a port from over 15 years ago, not a remastering. And in the cutscenes, it shows. I mean, it is hard to be mad at a port that looks like this from that era, but it is distracting, I won't lie. But the opening with the company logos looking so bad, it made my stomach drop when I started the game for the first time. I feared the whole game would look like this, and thankfully it was not. Cutscenes are a step above, but it's a short step, honestly. While actually playing, I didn't notice any real hang-ups that I don't remember encountering back in the day at least. It ran fairly smoothly in both handheld and docked. Yeah, when there's a lot of action on screen, you might run into some slowdowns, but as mentioned, I remember that happening in the game back in the day, so I really can't dock at points there. Combat itself is also not bad. It is fun to run around with a lightsaber, but it is not as fast-paced or refined like later titles in the series like The Force Unleashed. The game also isn't hard per se, but it doesn't hold your hand. Even on the first mission, there were times I wasn't 100% sure where to go to move on. The corridors look very samey. But I had to remember that this was a different era in gaming, and the game itself is not meant to be sped through per se. The developers want you to take your time to feel like Kyle Katarn, and it works for the most part. So there are two things I have to say hurt the game. One being mostly a non-issue, but I need to address it. This is part of the expanded universe that books and other games are forming that became non-canon when Disney took over, and it really makes me sad. One thing I like is that it feels like the Empire is struggling to gain power again, and not just have a giant planet killer and left unchecked like in The Force Awakens. Seems a bit more realistic and interesting to me. Again, honestly, it's a non-issue for most, but for me it was something. The second issue is multiplayer. The original version had this great multiplayer mode, like Capture the Flag or Kill Count and whatnot, where you had tons of each other battling it out. Since I had the GameCube version, I mostly played against bots, but honestly, it was still a ton of fun, and I dove so many hours into it. And I was truly looking forward to it, and assuming that online would be involved. But it's not here at all. But apparently, the sequel to this game, Jedi Academy, is also coming to the Switch and PS4 and will have multiplayer and online. This was not really communicated well except for in the press info, but in the direct when it was revealed, it would have been nice to see that. Or bundle them together or something. I don't know, it is a bit of a blow, honestly. But the game is only $10. And for a 15 to 20 hour game, depending on how much you get lost or just enjoy messing around with the Force, that is a pretty good deal. And assuming Jedi Academy is also 10, that is $20 for both games and online multiplayer. When some games cost that much and provide much less. And when some games cost more and provide less. Side note, I am interested to see how Academy holds up, and I will be doing a review. So it is almost time for the epic Star Wars credits to roll and time for me to give my thoughts and scores to this game. You do need to enjoy Star Wars to have fun here. There are nods and hints to the original trilogy that make the experience that much better. If you never owned it before, as I said, for $10, this game is fun and well worth it. It is just unfortunate for the timing. This game is sure to get buried with so many other things coming out in September. As for double dipping on this port, I say maybe hold off, unless you're getting an itch to play it and you don't have a copy anymore. Just wait, it's supposed to be early 2020 when Jedi Academy comes out, and it will have the online multiplayer. I give Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, 5 adorable Ewoks out of, I don't know, I don't do normal ratings. I let my words speak for themselves. So if you skip to the end to get a rating, please return to the start of the video. For those of you who stayed through the whole thing, be impressed, there's a Star Wars video on YouTube that didn't mention Jar Jar Binks. Ah, crap, I just did it. Thank you for joining me here at the Nintendo Network. Did you ever play Jedi Outcast, and are you excited to try it out again? Or is it your first time? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and consider helping me out on Patreon. As always, this is the Nintendo Network, signing off.